Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a developing situation in the Middle East that has a lot of people talking. We're going to break down the recent incident where Houthi forces reportedly targeted what they believed was a U.S. helicopter, over the Red Sea. But as the details unfold, it seems this might have been a significant case of mistaken identity. A miscalculation with potentially serious consequences. So what exactly happened? Reports from various sources, including those linked to Houthi media, began circulating with claims of a successful strike against an American aircraft. They released footage that appeared to show a missile launch followed by an explosion in the sky. The initial narrative was clear: a direct hit on a U.S. asset as part of their ongoing campaign in the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden. This campaign, as they've stated, is in response to the conflict in Gaza and aims to disrupt shipping linked to Israel and its allies. However, as military analysts and open-source intelligence investigators started scrutinizing the footage, the story began to change. The key piece of evidence, the video itself, raised more questions than answers. The object targeted didn't quite match the profile of the typical U.S. military helicopters operating in the region, like the MH-60 Seahawk or the AH-64 Apache. The flight pattern, the speed, and even the visual signature seemed ... off. This is where things get really interesting. The U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet, which is responsible for naval operations in the Middle East, quickly responded to the claims. Their statement was direct and unequivocal. No U.S. aircraft had been shot down or damaged. They confirmed that all American assets were accounted for and safe. This directly contradicted the Houthi claims, creating a major discrepancy. If it wasn't a U.S. helicopter, then what was it? Several theories have emerged. One leading possibility is that the Houthi forces may have accidentally targeted one of their own drones, or a drone belonging to an allied force. In the high-stress, fast-paced environment of military operations, friendly fire incidents are a tragic and known risk. It's conceivable that a drone, perhaps on a reconnaissance mission, was misidentified in the heat of the moment by an anti-aircraft crew on the ground. The fog of war is a real phenomenon, and mistakes like this can and do happen. Another theory suggests they might have targeted a commercial or civilian aircraft, mistaking it for a military one. This would be an even bigger blunder, escalating the situation from a military-to-military engagement to an attack on non-combatants, which would draw widespread international condemnation. Thankfully, as of now, there are no reports of any missing civilian aircraft in that area, making this scenario less likely. But it's a possibility we can't completely rule out until all the facts are known. So why would the Houthis rush to claim a successful strike on a U.S. helicopter? The answer likely lies in the power of propaganda. For the Houthi movement, projecting strength and defiance against a global superpower like the United States is a critical part of their strategy. It rallies their supporters, boosts morale, and positions them as a major player on the regional stage. A successful hit on a U.S. Apache or Seahawk would be a massive propaganda victory. By quickly claiming responsibility, they aimed to control the narrative, regardless of the actual facts on the ground or in the air. In this case, this claim first, verify later approach is a common tactic in modern information warfare. The goal is to get your version of the story out into the world and have it spread like wildfire on social media, before the other side has a chance to respond. Even if the claim is later debunked, the initial impression often sticks in the minds of many. But this time, the strategy might have backfired. By making such a bold and specific claim that was so swiftly and definitively refuted by the U.S. Navy, the Houthis risked damaging their own credibility. When you're constantly making claims that turn out to be false, people start to doubt everything you say. It can make future legitimate claims seem less believable, both to their own people and to the international community. This incident also highlights the advanced, multi-layered defense systems that the U.S. and its coalition partners have in place in the Red Sea. Naval vessels like the destroyers and the Dwight D. Eisenhower Carrier Strike Group are equipped with sophisticated radar and countermeasure systems designed to detect and neutralize threats like anti-ship missiles and drones. Helicopters themselves have advanced defensive suites, including flare and chaff dispensers to decoy incoming heat-seeking or radar-guided missiles. Successfully hitting a modern U.S. military helicopter is incredibly difficult. It requires not just the missile system itself, but also accurate targeting data and the ability to overcome those. powerful electronic and physical countermeasures. The fact that the Houthis apparently missed their intended target or hit the wrong one entirely shows the gap that still exists between their aspirations and their actual capabilities against a top-tier military force. So what does this all mean moving forward? First, it's a stark reminder of how volatile and unpredictable the situation in the Red Sea remains. The potential for miscalculation is extremely high, and an incident like this, even if it was a mistake, could have easily escalated into a much wider conflict. Imagine if the target had been a coalition warship and the defensive systems had failed. The response would have been swift and severe. Second, it puts the US and its allies in a tricky position. How do you respond to an attack that didn't actually happen the way the aggressor claimed? Do you ignore it as mere propaganda, or do you treat the launch of the missile itself as a hostile act requiring a response? So far, the approach has been a combination of defensive action shooting down incoming threats and targeted strikes on Houthi launch sites and weapons depots to degrade their ability to carry out these attacks. This latest incident will likely reinforce the need for that strategy. Third, for the Houthis, this serves as a critical learning moment. It's a test of their command and control, their targeting intelligence, and their propaganda strategy. Will they double down on these claims, or will they quietly learn from their mistake and try to improve their operational effectiveness? Their next moves will be very telling. In conclusion, the downed U.S. helicopter seems to be a classic case of military propaganda meeting a hard reality check. While the Houthis sought a major public relations win, they instead exposed potential weaknesses in their operational capabilities and credibility. The incident underscores the immense tension in the Red Sea, where a single mistake, a single misidentification, could ignite a much larger fire. It's a complex and fluid situation, and we'll be keeping a close eye on it as more information becomes available. Thanks for tuning in today to get the deeper story behind the headlines. If you found this breakdown helpful, please hit that like button and be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next analysis. We love hearing your thoughts, so drop a comment below with your take on this situation. Stay safe, stay informed, and we'll see you in the next video.